Hello and welcome to another Budget and Leggit video. Now, this is a thing that most people forget about. The carbon filter, cabin filter, particle, whatever you want to call it, most people forget about it. But with it coming to the winter now, it's kind of an issue. Now, I've used this tool before, and I had a few people complain, oh, well, that's an expensive tool, it's this, we don't have that, blah, 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 blah. I can only say what I use. And the reason I use tools like this is so I can easily explain to the customer rather than trying to put your hand at the vent. Now, unless you're really used to it, I cannot tell the difference between, you know, if the vent is blowing out 5 or 6 miles an hour in the difference. I'm just not used to it. If you're used to it, fair enough. But with this machine, I can tell very quickly if there is an issue. I can show it to the customer. When you've got a readout in front of you, it's just so much better and it's so much easier for everyone to comprehend, basically. And if you don't have the tools, well, you can't do the jobs. And look, it's not my problem, it's your problem. It's just with tools like this, I can show the customer and everyone's just basically on the same page. So I'm just going to turn it on and then we're going to turn the vent on. Now, you have to make sure that the car is hot, because between hot and cold there is a difference in temperature. Make sure it's fully hot and make sure it's just on one vent, so it's not shared between the vents. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to do it between the face vents, which is here, and we're just going to blast it on. Put this against it, and in a second we'll get a reading. You can see it's about 10 miles an hour, 11 miles an hour, which is just not fast enough. In my experience, I've normally known them to be in the 20s. Again, it just depends how many vents are open and stuff like that, but normally within the 20s. But again, it's just not enough. The customer is complaining about the window taking a bit too long to actually defrost. So let's just turn it to the window. Do the same thing again. Now, as you can see, again, we're only at 11, which just isn't enough speed, and we're only on the actual windscreen vent. Now, like I said, don't share the vents. You have to be careful when you test the main vents, because if you've got all 4 open or just 1 open, it will obviously make a difference in speed. But when we're looking at the vent on the windscreen, which is just there, 11 miles an hour just isn't quick enough. And like I said, this is just really quick, easy, and it takes me a few seconds. I can show the customer, or when I'm checking a car, I can actually check the car and I can tell the customer before they even realize there's an issue. Because like I said, I can't tell the difference between, you know, 5 or 6 miles an hour in my hand, and most people can't. So we use tools for a reason, to make your life easier. So let's see what condition the filter's in. Well, as you can see, we've got a brand new one here. Now, you do have to be careful because sometimes there is arrows. You can see, there we go, look, arrows, airflow. So we need to get this the right way before you put it in, just so the airflow is actually at its peak, because otherwise it won't be. I'm going to struggle getting it, but you can see it's just under here. It looks like it's missing the screw at the bottom. It is. Now, that's not going to help matters. Let me see if I can just work this out wide on camera. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Nope. Let me get this out first and then I'll turn the camera back on. Alright, let's just kind of peel this out. It's in a really awkward spot. It's bad, but... oh, hold on, here we go. Yes, it's bad. You can just see how much that actually is compared to the new one. You can just see. So I'm going to stick the new one in and then we'll check the airflow again. It's a real shame I actually don't have any kind of weighing scales, because this, I'd say, weighs 3 or 4 times the weight of this. It's a huge difference in weight. But let me get this in and then we'll test again. All right, we got the new one in. Boom! 19.3, 19.4. So there we go. That's the difference on having that old filter in. We've gone, like, was it 11 or something at this to 19. That's a huge jump just because of a blocked filter. Let's try the main vents now. And boom, there we go. The main vents. Up on 19 again. So that is a huge, huge difference just from a new filter. Boom. That's why I have the tools, because of things like this. You can even see the temperature is reading a lot hotter too, compared to what it was. And all I've done is just change the filter. So there we go. Temperature's climbing. That's good. So you can see the difference. Not only is it the wind speed, it's also the temperature inside the car. Oh, it's timed out. Not only is it the wind speed, it's also the temperature inside the car. It's one of them things that actually people forget, and a lot of mechanics forget. I must admit, I forget them all the time too. You just don't think of them, but you should always change them. And with tools like this, it's just to make your life easier. It's so much easier explaining to somebody, look, when you can physically see the difference, oh look, it's only 10 mile an hour, now it's 19 mile an hour. You can physically see a difference. Rather than trying to explain it, it's just easier showing someone with something like this. Yes, for the average person, they're not going to buy this, understandable. For someone who, you know, deals with this basically on, you know, a daily basis, you could say, it's worth my while getting it. I can explain to the customer, it looks better, it looks more professional, and everyone knows exactly where they're going. And not only that, for a video, you can clearly see the difference from an old filter to a new filter, just on, you know, just on a little dial. That's why I do it. So that's it. So look, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most importantly, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted. Oh, and by the way, yes, it didn't really feel that much of a difference. That it still sounded kind of the same. There was no extra oomph. It didn't sound any different from me putting the new filter into the old one as regards to hearing, and also putting your hand on it. With that machine, it's just so much easier.